Welcome to Foxon Media Digital. My name is Okako. Today I'm joined by Michael Hom and Irene Galprin of InterSystems. Michael Hom is Head of Financial Solutions at InterSystems. He's a technology executive that helps businesses use technology as a competitive advantage, creating innovative solutions to complex problems. He has over 25 years of experience working in some of the most prominent investment banks, starting at Lehman Brothers and most recently at RBC. He has managed global technology teams and has built cross-product trading systems to analytical platforms supporting flow and derivative businesses. Michael joined InterSystems nearly 4 years ago to develop solutions tailored to the financial services industry. Irene Galprin is a senior advisor for financial services at InterSystems, who joined our firm recently to expand the global reach in the financial services industry. Irene has decades of experience working with leading financial data, analytics, and technology solution providers that deliver mission-critical data to support investment decisions and technology to modernize the industry's tech infrastructure. These include Bloomberg, MSCI, and Euromoney institutional investors, as well as emerging SaaS providers specializing in data automation and artificial intelligence. Welcome you both. It's great to have you on our channel.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Let's dive right in. My first question is for you, Irene. When it comes to enterprise data, what challenges are asset management firms facing, and what does this mean for them as businesses?
Thank you, Kako. It's a great question. And really, it's a decades-old issue for asset management firms. The enterprise data kind of landscape for a typical asset manager, regardless of size, is they have a series of point solutions that each do really great things. Each solution is fit for purpose, such as a market data system, a portfolio management system, a risk management system, a client reporting system, regulatory reporting system. But when you try to connect data across these systems to gain a deeper insight or to get real-time data for reporting purposes, it's really a challenge. And so integration of enterprise data sources is really the primary challenge. Right now, currently, it's largely solved by manual methods, which are time-consuming and often require developer resources. And they also introduce errors into the equation. And so InterSystems has recently conducted a global survey of 375 asset management firms that range in size from 30 billion to 500 billion. And these pain points really, bear out in our research. More than half of asset management firms, 54%, cite that their number one challenge when it comes to data management is errors in their data. And so it's not surprising because on average, asset management firms, as I mentioned, use dozens of data sources, 20 to 29 sources actually, as our research indicates, to make decisions and to generate reports. And this is all regardless of firm size. And that's a really important point because, to some extent, the data needs are what they are and the data management needs are what they are. But a large firm is certainly much more equipped to deal with, their processing needs than a mid-sized firm. And so a mid-sized firm, if they have something like 200 to 250 employees generally, and 6 to 9 are focused on data processing alone, according to our research, and 50% of their IT resources time is spent on managing data requests, that's a huge burden for asset management firms. And actually, our data show that firms in the mid-size range, so 100 to 250 billion in asset management, reported that overwhelmingly 77% reported needing those 6 to 9 resources to process data. Again, that's really a heavy burden for firms that are generally not large. In addition to the operational burden, manual methods introduce latency. And so this is a really common challenge and a common complaint, frankly, around from asset managers is that they don't often work with live data or real-time data, particularly when it comes to things like risk management, client management. In fact, again, our research shows that the top 3 challenges when it comes to risk management and client management are consolidating disparate data, managing real-time data, and managing the volume of data. And so these are really significant challenges that lead to a lot of inefficiency. But the good news is that asset management firms are continuing to invest in data management. And again, going back to our research, an overwhelming 73% of our survey respondents said that they're going to continue investing in expanding their data management capabilities, regardless of whether they feel their current capabilities are adequate or inadequate. So, even if they feel like they have what they need, it's still an ongoing challenge that they're continuing to invest in solving.
You both now, there have been solutions in the market to help this type of problems for a few years now. So why do you think the challenges still exist?
You're right. There have been a number of solutions. As I said, this is a decades-old problem. It's nothing new. The challenge is that the current tools and systems that are most commonly used, still fail to solve some key issues here. So the current solutions are things like data warehouses, data lakes, data marts, and manual methods we just talked about. And each of these have their limitations. Data warehouses rely on ETL processes that are brittle and really expensive to maintain. Data lakes, seemed like a really great idea. You can put all of your data, regardless of format, into one place. But when you try to use that data, again, there's a really heavy processing burden. And in fact, some of our clients have started to call these data swamps, client term. And some cloud-based solutions are great because, it's sort of easy access to all of your data in the cloud, but sometimes it becomes really difficult to integrate with data that is on-prem, which, for many asset management firms is necessary. And then, again, manual methods, while they offer flexibility, they're not scalable. And we go back to, all of these processes sort of introduce, as you try to consolidate data across your systems, you introduce errors into the equation, you introduce latency into the equation. All of this requires additional resources and manpower at the end of the day to reconcile.
I agree with Irene, right? There are many different types of technologies and solutions that have been used to try to solve this problem. First, obviously, people use Excel. It's very flexible, as many of us know, but it's very manual. So when you do use that, and if you use it at large, it becomes unwielding. There's a lot of control issues. Obviously, it will be very hard to audit. That obviously leads to a lot of quality concerns, right? Like, how robust a process do you have to ensure that the data that you use is clean and proper, right? Then you have data warehouses that people use. Fit for purpose, serves specific use cases, generally very controlled, but they tend to have more data, right? Because that you have these heavy ETL processes that bring in the data, validate the data, but they, as Irene mentioned, they can be very brittle. So you have this concern there. And then, with this day and age where there's so many things that you have to do on the fly, it doesn't handle ad hoc requests as easily as it could, right? That comes to data lakes, where it's very flexible. It's basically ability to dump all your data into a single location, but that lacks control, or it tends to lack control. You have the same issues as Excel, where you have data quality issues because it's just dumping the raw data, right? It requires a set of processes, operations, and technical and data-oriented individuals to make sure that is done properly and maintained. And all that being said, that's obviously a higher implementation cost, right? Or even maintenance costs to continue. There are point solutions out there. Most of them in the market today are built on older technologies and architectures. They tend to have domain-specific capabilities, but they do, because they're point solutions and they were built in with older technologies, they do have probably more problems with this, streaming technologies and also scaling to the data usage that we have today. And lastly, I think Irene mentioned these multi-vendor solutions, right? So if you take the best, all these different components and different solutions and bringing it and stitching them together, yes, that could be very powerful, but there is a higher level of cost and complexity that comes with it. It might take months and years to implement because of all these components. You need expertise in each one of those. And then there's obviously, along with that, a higher continual maintenance costs, right? To make sure that this is run properly with all those different components, making sure that all those things are working properly along with each other, integrate in an integrated way. And like a data lake solution, it requires a lot of technical and domain expertise to bring that together. And most of the times they don't have any domain specific logic in there. That's just purely the technical solution. Now you have to layer on top all that capability that apply to your domain. So that in itself kind of brings together, a lot of there are a lot of solutions out there, a lot of technologies, but they all have their disadvantages.
So what are the alternatives to current solutions that can help asset managers overcome challenges, and what benefits do they offer?
Sure. According to research, I think a new approach that's been gaining momentum is data fabrics, particularly in the US. I think, in the survey, I think in the US, like 41% of the respondents basically said that's what they're looking at, what they're implementing. So that validates kind of the approach. And because of that, we have also launched our own solution, InterSystems TotalView for asset management. It's a modern way, self-service way to implement a data fabric that creates this single source of truth from all these various data sources. And we allow or provide the ability to automate all those data operations to make that easy to use. The benefits of it, the first one is obviously operational efficiencies, right? Being able to automate all those components to bring your data in, to validate it, to transform it, to reconcile it. Make sure that you have clean data coming in. And it's done obviously in a much more efficient way than manual processes, and obviously less error prone. That obviously then also frees them up to do more value add oriented work, more critical work that helps with the bottom line. Secondly, it democratizes the data, right? Where across the firm, they have a consistent set of data that they can use that's updated in a timely manner. It's accurate and allows the whole organization to move as one using the same data, but in different ways, right? So I think that's obviously a huge benefit that you don't have today. Many firms don't have today. And last, improves time to value, right? I think that's obviously very important. Getting the right data from different data sources, all integrated in the right form that they want to use, right? So different users want data in different ways. To each of the users that we require, getting them access as quickly and accurately as possible, and then at the time that they need it, right? It's not when I make a request today and getting the data a month from now, but it's getting it when you need it. I think that is obviously the biggest value add today, right? You being able to have access to your data, but being able to use it at the right time.
And how is InterSystems TotalView for asset management different from other solutions?
Great question. First and foremost, it's built on our Iris data platform. And I think that is a very big differentiator where we don't have to stitch together a whole bunch of technologies and products to get to that solution. It's actually built on our own proprietary platform that integrates all these components together already. And so we know that they all work well together because it's been proven for 40 plus years, right? and talking more about the integrated approach, it brings all that together so you don't have that time and complexity and risk that you would normally have if you had to stitch all those things together yourself, right? As part of our core platform, our Iris core platform, plus TotalView, there's a non-disruptive way to integrate all your components, right? All your data sources. There's an orchestration layer built in to bring and connect all your data sources, bringing it all together. So it's not as disruptive as saying you have to replace everything in your whole organization to get value. No, you can start, connect, and ultimately evolve your data architecture into the future, right? Another feature is historical capabilities, right? As part of the solution, we have a historical data store that has full traceability and auditability in it. What does that mean? We are able to persist all changes that go into your data, day over day, and even intraday. So every single change is there. And so if a regulator and an auditor ever came to you, you can precisely determine how the data looked like at a point in time. And I think that's very powerful. Lastly, it's cloud native. It's fully managed in the cloud. So we provide everything from the solution down, all managed on your behalf for a customer. And they just need to work with the data, their data, and focus on the value add. Again, focusing on that versus all the work that you have to do with managing your data.
So lastly, Irene, are you working with anyone who's leveraging this new approach to data management?
We are, in fact. We're working with Harris Associates, which is a mid-sized asset management firm. It's part of the Natixis Investment Management kind of family. They own and operate Oakmark funds, and they are about roughly $100 billion firm as of Q1 of this year. Harris came to us with a very specific problem, which is that they needed to create an enterprise-wide single source of truth from multiple internal and external data sources. They really wanted to deliver a consistent set of data and analytics to consumers across the firm. And like many firms of their size, mid-sized asset management firms, they have a data warehouse, they have a data lake, cloud-based data marts, in addition to all of the standard market data applications that they need to do business. And they've made several attempts at integrating data across all of these silos, or at least connecting the data across these silos, relying on all the methods that we discussed earlier, manual methods, which is really predominant, as well as ETL processes. And all of these really came with significant limitations like data duplication, batch processing, complexity and delays, inflexible architectures, inability for business users to explore data on their own, that ad hoc kind of analysis that Mike was referring to, and constant maintenance requirements, which again is a really heavy operational burden for them. And because of all this, they really struggled with delivering unified, accurate, and most importantly, timely data to business users. The timeliness aspect is really critical to Harris. As the CTO, Jay Amoraj, likes to say, and I'm paraphrasing here, data that was relevant 5 minutes ago is no longer relevant. And so timeliness in this space is really, really critical. And Harris was really looking for a modern approach to solving this problem, having tried, virtually everything else. They learned about smart data fabrics and they found out about what InterSystems is doing in this space. And they came to us to see if we can solve their challenge. After a comprehensive review of other alternative solutions, because certainly data fabrics, while our smart data fabric is sort of we take a very unique approach to it, as Mike said, we have a platform that sort of enables you to create it kind of all in one space. You can create it using other systems and other vendors, but you generally have to stitch together a number of products and services to do it. And again, according to Harris's CTO, Jay Amoraj, InterSystems TotalView for asset management had all of their components to meet their requirements for creating a smart data fabric architecture, which they deemed was really the best approach for them. And so we implemented this approach, providing them with a self-service application to create and manage the smart data fabric on their own. Most importantly, we designed this application to make it easy for data analysts, data engineers, and data stewards to use it. So we essentially eliminated the need to rely on development resources, which was really, really important to Harris. And like I said, it's an important kind of feature for most mid-sized asset management firms. Harris Associates is now a very happy client. We continue to work with them and expand our solution within their firm. And the CTO has estimated that it's saving them millions of dollars annually. And this is a case study that we've published. And so for any of your viewers that would like to see it in more detail, it's available on our website. And they can really see that the client very much stands behind the solution, and it's solving a very critical need for them.
Thank you again for participating in TSAM New York.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks everyone for watching.